Today we continue with our class Shabbat Kitchen. Today is class number 16. We start with Sefer Shmiras HaLashon. Okay, so today is topic, the conceivable. It is, the inconceivable, I apologize, the inconceivable. It is inconceivable that one's livelihood should suffer because of he refused to interrupt his week study period to engage in business. Right? So one more time, it is inconceivable that one's livelihood should suffer because he refuses to interrupt his week study period to engage in business. Can it be that HaShem would subtract from the amount of substance that has been decreed for an individual for Rosh Hashanah because that person faithfully adheres to the schedule of the Torah study? It's a good question, right? So people say, I don't have time to learn, and this and that. So the question is asked, so if a person is going to keep his Torah study, he's going to lose. That's what we think of HaShem. He's going to give you less just because you decided to keep your schedule despite your boss pressing you, right? Or they want you to work second job or third job, right? So we don't cancel Torah. If one's steadfastness in this area result in loss of business opportunity, this should not be cause for concern. The omnipotent has infinite way to bring profit to one's door, right? If it will not be here today, it will be there. It will be here some other day. One thing is certain, right? So basically, okay, maybe it looks like, so of course it's a HaBRIT. It's going to send us example that an example situation when we try to do the right thing and looks like we lost the money, right? That's what it looks like, but you must know it's not true. HaShem is meaning that it's going to send us money. For NASA, everything some other way. Okay. So continue. It will not be here today. It will be there here some other day. So meaning just because it did not work according to our plan today, that does not mean that it's never going to work. One thing is certain: by the time of the year ends, whatever income has been decreed in heaven will be his. As our sages have taught, all of the person's income is fixed each year, from Rosh Hashanah until the Rosh Hashanah. It says in the Talmud Beitza 16a, and all of the efforts. And business acumen in the world will not gain him and send more. So basically, this way or that way, so a person is going to get whatever was decreed for him to receive in Rosh Hashanah, and whatever he's trying to cheat people or I don't know, work 7 jobs, it's not going to give him more money. Surely one cannot hope to improve his situation by contravening the will of HaShem and disturbing his Torah study in order to earn profit, right? So cannot be. So person was studying every day and then he quit a class. Why? Because he wants to work more. Okay, he's not going to get more money. Or by giving less tzedakah than a man of his means should give. Right, so he was trying to cut on tzedakah to save some money. Also not going to work. Only the wicked improve their material existence in this world by transgressing God's will, as it is written, and he repays his enemies in his lifetime to make him perish. Dvarim 7:10. So the wicked people, they must be paid for whatever little good they did in this life. And they've been paid here in this world. So when somebody is enjoying their lives, most likely, and he or she is not observing, guess what? HaShem is paying them in this world. Okay, stop here. So we continue with Shabbat Kitchen. Sorry, and we're still on the same topic, sorting. Bezos HaShem, we're going to finish it today. Right, a little more left. So, and it says, so then my book is page 166 and chapter number 12. Topic: other foods applications. A, foreign matter. If dirt particle or insect fell into a liquid or solid, the particle may be removed with some liquid or with some solid. So meaning that still it is sorting, as we said, you're going to separate waste from food if you remove this insect from your cup, right? But if you take a little liquid with that insect, no problem. So it's not considered sorting. Continue, and same with solids. It's just cut off this piece, this insect or some dirt. Okay, so B, fat attached to meat in a soup. Fat attached to meat. When eating a piece of meat that has fat attached to it, one may not cut the entire piece of fat away. One may, however, cut away part of the fat, leaving a thin layer attached to the meat. Alternatively, one may remove all of the fat by cutting some of the meat along with fat. Removing fat from soup is forbidden unless the fat is removed along with some soup. Okay, so it's very interesting case. We spoke about it a little, but let's discuss it. So basically, we have soup. We have a piece of meat in the soup, and you have fat attached to this meat. So you're on a diet. You want to live till 175 years old, right? And you want to cut this fat, even though this fat is good, right? So you want to cut this fat. So what we cannot do, we cannot cut only fat. Right, you can only separate the mixture of good and bad. Good meaning meat is good for you, that's what you like, and fat is not what you like, so it's waste. So you can either cut fat not completely, leave a little attached to the meat, or you can cut fat completely and put in a piece of meat, sliver of meat, right? Or as I say, if this piece of fat is separate, right, and it got separated from it, so again, you cannot remove it from soup, right? So you can remove it with a little bit of liquid. So that's the solution. Okay, so meaning it's still a mixture. It's not one from another, but a little bit of mixture. Okay. C, excess liquid in cholent, yogurt, peanut butter. Okay, if cholent has excess water, pouring off the water is forbidden due to the melach of borea. Okay, however, the excess water above the level of food is not considered mixed and may be poured off. So basically, let's say they have too much water in the cholent, too much. That's so whatever is mixed, mixed meaning on a level with all of the vegetables and with your potatoes, meat, right? That's mixed. Whatever above that level is not mixed. It's not mixed. It's actually like something separate. One second. Okay, so it's actually something separate. So they say at least. So we're addressing this issue in stages. So the first stage, they say at least you can pour off this excess water that is on top of the vegetable and meat. Okay, the water that is actually mixed with cholent may not be poured off by itself, but only along with some of the cholent. So I think it's also okay. So first solution or first part of the solution. The water that is on top, you can pour off, no problem. Now we're talking about the water that is mixed with vegetables and meat. That's the problem. So second part of the solution, they say if you remove this water along with some cholent, they say there is no problem. Okay. So I think it's a very practical solution. Sometimes a layer of unwanted liquid accumulates on the top of the certain types of yogurt. I'm not sure. Okay, so I saw this liquid. I usually mix in, so it's part of the yogurt. I'm not sure why they don't want it. Not sure. One may pour out the liquid only if the yogurt is thick and firm, and thick and firm with a smooth, even surface. So a smooth, even surface, firm. All of these description words were added here. Why? Because to say that they're two separate entities. So water, no, not water. It's not water. The liquid, I think it's like a whey or something. Is on top is one entity, and this solid, smooth, and yogurt is a separate entity. So basically, they're trying to say they're not mixed. In this case, the liquid is not mixed exactly with the yogurt, and rules of Barer do not apply. So one meaning, what does it mean? Like one on the bottom, one on top. They're not mixed. Okay. Otherwise, it is forbidden to pour out the unwanted liquid. For example, if it's not that solid, like it's more liquidish yogurt, well, whatever it's called. There's a special name when it's more. There is more liquid in the yogurt. I don't remember. Unwanted liquid, and one must remove the liquid together with some yogurt. So in this case, when it's very liquidish, so you just remove this extra stuff. I'm not sure why would people want to do it, but okay, that's a different story. I think like from my experience, you just mixed in whatever this extra liquid, and then it's fine. You don't even notice. Okay. But for our practical application, so that's good example. The same halakha applies to oil that is separate from the peanut butter. Okay, that's very interesting. So oil from peanut butter, it's very like it's a lot of fat in there. Okay. D, oil in tuna and sardines. Oil on the oil or water found in sardines. Oh no, I'm sorry. On the surface of tuna or sardines may be poured off, since it is not considered mixed with a food item. However, although tuna is generally solid, it does not contain several flakes. Okay, and the liquid present there among these flakes is considered mixed with the tuna. Okay, we're going to explain. One may not pour off that remaining liquid. Instead, he should remove the tuna from the can and squeeze it out, the unwanted remaining liquid by hand or with a fork. See the page 135. So let's try to understand this 1 second. This tuna business. Okay. So on one hand, this tuna and sardines, they're solid. They're not mixed with oil. So whatever is on top, right, surrounded, there is no problem with pour off. What is the problem? If this tuna, let's say it's even though it's like in solid pieces, but between the solid pieces, as they call it, flakes, there is some oil got stuck. So this oil, it is considered halakhically being mixed with tuna, and we cannot separate this oil from the tuna. So let's see. Okay, so let's see one more time the solution, and we're going to explain. One may not pour off the remaining liquid. So remaining liquid meaning that it got stuck between the flakes, right? Instead, he should remove the tuna from the can and squeeze out the unwanted remaining liquid by hand. or with a fork. I guess fork is more is a better solution. Or I would say even if you don't squeeze, you just tilt the plate where your tuna is and hold the remaining with a fork. I think it's also, of course, it's not going to remove all of the extra oil, but at least some of it. Not some oil. I think even most of it. Okay, so continue. Meat bones. One should not pick out bones which are considered waste from meat, but must take the meat from the bones. This may be done even with a fork or a knife. However, it is permitted to remove the bone if some meat remains attached and is removed along with the bone. Okay, so it's very, very common application, I would say. This have this chicken, piece of chicken. So you cannot just remove a bone and continue eating chicken, right? So the straightforward solution is to remove meat from this chicken. Or if you, I'm not sure if it's going to work with always with this chicken, but let's say it would. So if you remove the bone and there is some pieces of chicken, that doesn't matter how big, still attached. So that would be permissible. Okay. Continue. Bone then that contain edible marrow are considered food if one eats marrow. So that's also a very interesting thing. They say marrow is very good for people who eat it, but for them it's still food, even though it's bare bone. We're talking about, I guess, chicken bones, right? And you have marrow inside. So if you're going to eat this marrow, there is no problem. It's even empty bone, like not empty, like bone without meat is not wasteful. Still the food. Okay, but for people who do not eat bone marrow, it's for them it's waste. This is permitted even when one's main intention is to remove the bone and not eat marrow. It's very interesting. So they give us here big leniency. Even you usually you eat marrow. Today you're not a big fan of it. You have enough meat without marrow. So, but anyway, it isn't allowed for you to remove this bone, even though you have no intention to eat marrow. So basically, my understanding, there is no explanation, but my understanding of this, because maybe you change your mind and you're going to it. Maybe you said that's enough meat, I don't need the bone marrow, and then you just change your mind. You set it out the table for another 3.5 hours, and you decided to eat bone marrow. Similarly, a bone coated with gravy is considered food. If one wants the gravy, it is therefore permissible for him to remove these bones from the meat if one plans of eating marrow or sucking the gravy immediately after removing the bone. Okay, so second scenario is when you have let's say a stew, and there is a lot of gravy, and this bone is covered with gravy, right? So if you're going to eat this gravy from the bone, there is no problem. It's not there is no separation. Then you can remove the bone and eat this gravy, or as they say, or he's planning on eating the bone marrow. Okay. But otherwise, all these bones are muktzah. Muktzah, it's one issue, and second issue that we cannot separate. Two issues. Okay. Unless you have a dog. So if you have a dog or somebody, your neighbor have a dog, and you can give them this chicken bones or other bones, so there is no problem. there is no problem with the muktzah, but it's still problem with separation. Okay. F, chicken. Number one, skin. Since the skin of chicken is edible, it is considered part of the chicken. And halachas ubarer do not apply. Okay. So, all right, so very interesting. Number two, different types. Boiled roasted chicken are considered two different types of foods. Likewise, cooked and baked chicken are considered two different types of foods. So meaning, as we were discussing before, if we said different kinds of even of the same species is going to be mixture, right? The example that we gave before was different kind of apples. Actually, it was halachas obracha, sorry. It was different class, right? So we said that there's sour apples and sweet apples and juicy apple, not so juicy apples. So those, if they're in one bowl or something, so they are mixed, right? But here we said same concept with the chicken, the way it was prepared, right? Cooked. It was boiled or roasted, two different kinds. So they could be mixed. So what does it mean when we have a platter? That's was our examples before. Okay. Number three, different parts. Okay. Different parts of chicken, for example, top or bottom, are not considered two different types of foods. Okay. Therefore, selecting may be done without following the rules of Borer. Okay. Okay, so it's very interesting. So even though maybe they taste different and stuff like that, but halakhically it's not Borer, it's all the same. So different preparation is very different. So they would be considered Borer, but different parts, even though the same chicken, so not considered to be an issue. Okay, halakhically. If, however, a person would not eat certain portions of the chicken, he must consider it is a different type, and thus the rule of Borer apply. So I think it does not say here, but I think same would be with the chicken skin. So if I don't eat the chicken skin ever, for example, there are some people don't eat because health reason, that doesn't matter, whatever the reason is. So for him, it's 100% waste, even though it is edible and some people would eat it, but for him, it's going to be waste. So it's not so easy to remove the skin in these circumstances. Okay. Okay, continue. Number 4. In the soup, portions of chicken in a soup are not considered a mixture unless they are small pieces. I think we discussed it last time, right? So if you can eat something with a spoonful, it's all the same. But if you have like the whole piece of chicken in there, the chicken leg, whatever we have there, chicken thighs, so I mean, they never mix. They're simply too large to be mixed. So you can remove them from the soup. Number 5, and as we learned in the beginning of the book, that's how you can actually warm the chicken. So if you have chicken and it's very, so you got it from the refrigerator and it's cold, so you can put it in a soup. Okay, continue. Number 5, removing chicken from a bone. Okay, that's how we eat. If the chicken bones themselves are edible, they're soft, they're not considered waste, but a part of the chicken itself. It is therefore permissible to separate these bones, even if one does not intend to eat them. So usually when something was in a slow cooker for, I don't know, 16 hours, so usually you can eat those bones, usually. Chicken bones for sure. However, yeah, I mean, they're so soft. However, if person has an aversion to eating bones, to him they are considered waste, and they may not be, and he may not remove them. Rather, he must pull the chicken off the bones. Seal of the meat above page 167. So we actually covered it. So again, so I think it's exactly the same principle with the skin. chicken skin. So they say if person never eats bones because he or she looks after their teeth. So okay, no. So for them it's 100% waste. So 100% mix, and they would not be allowed to pull the bone out of the chicken. So the proper way, again, just remove chicken from the bone. That's it. Okay. The next section, G. So before that was chicken, F chicken, and now G fish. Okay, so fish also is a big deal. That's why we prefer to eat fish without bones. That's idea. So you do fillet, you buy gefilte fish, you make yourself gefilte fish, you make you buy herring or you buy flounder fillet, or salmon fillet. That's it, and you don't have these issues. Okay. Or whitings also, no problem. Okay. Bones. Okay. Fish bones that are inedible, and has and are not coated with any edible residue, may not be simply removed from the fish. So edible, I'm not sure what kind of edible, like they have to be like huge. I don't know. Okay. Huge, they have some substance inside. I'm not sure how they would be edible. Or simply too soft. Sometimes I know. So I give you example. Sometimes in a canned fish, there are bones, but like in salmon, right? In a canned salmon, so there are bones inside, but they're so soft that you can chew them. Okay, so I think that's what they mean by edible. That's what I think. Continue. One should attempt to pull away fish. So if the bones are not edible, so one should attempt to pull the fish away from the bones or remove the bones along with the bits of fish. Okay, so I'm not sure how this is possible. It's not probably how is it practical to remove bones with a piece of fish. Usually the bones, they're not attached. Usually you pull the bone and you have a bone in your hand, not pieces of fish. Since this is often difficult, okay, here we go. It is advisable to take a bite of fish and pull the bones out of one's mouth. I mean, maybe if you eat it, if you eat by yourself, maybe there is no problem. But when you eat with other people, it's not such a pleasant scenery to see somebody like pulling bones out of his mouth or her mouth. So I'm not sure how practical it is. One who afraid of swallowing the bones away, bones may take forkful of fish in his hand and pick out the bones moment before putting the fish into his mouth. So again, I mean, it's if that's what person wants to eat, that's okay, no problem. And he or she is afraid of these bones, right? Of course, because they're dangerous. These bones are very dangerous, right? So take some meat, fish meat in your fork and pull these bones right before you put it into your mouth. So you cannot do it in advance, only from the fork, because that's when you're ready to eat. Okay, continue. If the bones have some flavor or coated with a sauce, I guess maybe there's a dish they do whitening with vegetables, with carrots and other things. Tomatoes, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I guess tomatoes. And it's a lot of sauce in there. So maybe that would be example, because all of the bones would be covered with the sauce. So one more time, if the bones have some flavor or are coated with a sauce, one may remove them, provided that he plans on immediately suck or chew the bone. So I mean, it's all serious. If you're going to do that, you must be able to eat it or willing to eat it. Right? In addition, as with eating meat, or that the fat has attached to it, if one removes some fish, along with bone, that is also permissible way to remove the bones. I get the main bone. If you remove, yes, you would have some meat attached, but the smaller bones, I don't know. So it's one more time, just to emphasize, it's better if you eat fish on Shabbos, so better to eat like fillet. Okay. So now number 2, skin. Fish skin. The skin of a fish is generally not eaten. I'm not sure why, and is therefore considered waste. I'm not sure why. I think it's tasty. The salmon skin, I don't know. And maybe are removed only immediately before eating. Maybe they're talking about some different fish. Okay, so all right, only immediately before eating. Okay, alternatively, so immediately, so immediately we said even even sometimes, sometime before we start eating, immediately before. Alternatively, one may remove some fish along with the skin. So that's as we understand already, that it's always allowed. See chapter 28 regarding the muktzah status of the bones. That's a separate topic, but as we said before, just to remind us, you can, if you put on a plate all of these bones, you put on a plate with some food. That doesn't matter how tiny portions of food, even some I don't know, salad dressing or some a few crumbs or whatever you have there. So it's still good. So you're allowed to move this plate even with these bones, and you can throw them into the garbage, no problem. But if it's in a clean plate, it would be an issue. Okay. So number 3, sort with carrot. A piece of carrot lying on top of the piece of fish is not considered a mixture. So you usually if you buy, for example, this gefilte fish from a can, or if you buy frozen one, right? You buy frozen one, so usually this comes with carrots, so you have to. I don't remember. I don't think it's. Maybe it comes with carrot. I'm not sure. We don't buy that, but you used to buy, but then we stopped. Okay. So continue. But for one who I think it's very practical when you buy this frozen gefilte fish, and it's not that expensive, and everything was taken care of, and you just have to cook in the water. They give you the recipe, and that's it. You cut it and slice it, and no problem. You don't have to care about this all of these bones. Okay, next section F. When feeding children and elderly. So as we said before, this is these children and elderly, they in constant danger, right? So that's why there is some leniency. When giving food to a child or elderly person who cannot be trusted to avoid eating bones or pits, and where none of the options mentioned above are feasible, for example, taking food from waste, removing waste along with some food, removing and sucking on the waste, right? The following solution may be employed. One may remove the waste product from the food, a moment before feeding a child or elderly person. If it is not possible, the bones may be removed within the time frame that is considered immediately before the eating. Page 136. Let me quickly check so we don't have any misunderstanding. Just 1 second. For immediate use, so it says the third final condition required permitted to permit selecting mixture is that item selected be intended for immediate use. The term immediate use will be described below. So we actually said the more lenient definition of immediate use, it's how much you need to prepare for the whole meal. So it could be 3 hours before, basically. So technically yes, but practically we said only if there is no other option. Okay. But the best way, I would say the best way, just buy filet, cutlets, that's it. So that's the proper way to do that. Okay. HaBRIT challah. Okay. Bread made with a white flour and bread made with a whole wheat flour are considered two different types of food items. Therefore, if one wants only one type, the melach or barer would apply. The same is true regarding water and egg challah. Okay, so this water challah, egg challah, wheat challah, this rye challah, all of these beautiful challahs, so they actually they consider to be mixed. I mean, I think it's not challahs like challah is like one. It's they're huge. I mean, can compare them. Maybe they're talking about the dinner roll or something like smaller. Okay. So, but basically, since they're so different, they're mixed. Okay. J cake. Number one, icing. Icing on a cake is considered a mixture. Very interesting. At the area it is attached. Therefore, removing the top part of the icing is not considered border. However, removing the icing in a place where it is attached to the cake, even for immediate use of the case, is considered border. In order to avoid the prohibition of border, one must remove some cake with the icing. So we have icing on a cake, all the beautiful cream, right, on top. So, and at the point when this icing is touching the cake, right, they're mixed. Same concept as we discussed with the meat and fat, right? They're considered to be mixed. Okay, so you can take some icing from the top, but don't do it like completely. Don't remove it completely. So it would be some, at least the thinnest layer possible to be mixed with the cake itself, or opposite, right? You remove icing completely with some of the cake also. Same concept everywhere. Okay, so it was number one. Number two, large and small pieces. Large and small pieces of the same cake are not considered two types, and therefore melach or barer does not apply, right? But when you have like assorted cakes, right, the different like pieces, that's would be mixture for sure. So if you want to only chocolate cake or that cake, this cake, so for sure it is others would be considered waste for you. Okay. Number three, platter. A random assortment of cut pieces of cake or kugel arranged in a close proximity on a platter are considered mixture as long as they are touching each other. One may not sort out the pieces and place them in their proper places. So basically, we were talking about, as we said, as we were discussing the cutlery, the page 129, many pages ago. So we said, let's say it is in, you washed it before, right? And now you want to store, you want to put it in storage, right? So what is the problem? So you want to put randomly, wherever you just, whatever you don't even look, and then you put in the right place. So that's since they're mixture, they're mixed in whatever place they are. So we're not allowed to do that. So same with all of these platters. They say cake or kugel. Of course, we were talking about assortment, right? Or assortment of cut pieces. So it's not the same. It's not from the same kugel and not from the same cake. We already discussed that. Even different size of the pieces, and then they're not considered to be mixed. We're talking about cakes from different variety, or kugel different varieties. So, and they touch each other. So you cannot. So they consider to be mixed, basically. Right. Cakes organized in a separate rows on a plate are not considered mixture. So if, however, they overlap with each other, even if they are lined up in a separate rows, they may be considered mixture. So sometimes they put like one sideways, another on top of it, so like they look very nice. But it is a problem because they're mixed in this case. Okay. So next, let's take a look at time. Hope you're going to finish it. Okay, I hope we're going to finish it. All right. So, K, sorting leftover foods. As with the cave platter, if one serves the platter of cold cuts, continually containing turkey roll, pastrami, and corned beef in adjacent rows that are touching each other at the end of the meat, he is not allowed to separate the different types of the cold cuts and place them in separate bags. Similarly, a bowl of fruit or a nut may not be separated for the storage. Taking items from the mixture at random and storing them separately is also a form of barer and prohibited. So when you arrange this platter, so what you can do with this platter, I mean, it does not say it, but logically, right? If they don't touch each other, the separate variety, for example, turkey roll, pastrami. So if they don't touch each other, you have this turkey, then in another row you have this pastrami, and it does not touch each other. So that's good. They're then mixed. If they're not mixed, you can sort them. It's not even halachically. I mean, halachically, it's not considered to be sorted. Meaning, but you can put them in separate containers. And same, it's very interesting case, bowl of nuts, right? So similar bowl of fruit, right? Bowl of fruit. So you cannot disassemble it. Meaning you keep it as it is. Or nuts. So you have nuts and you have raisin, like separately, mix them together. So now you cannot separate them. That's it. Okay. And they say even taking one at a time. So you have, let's say you have can open for nuts and another for raisins. So you cannot take whatever you take in the hand and nuts go in the left one and raisins go into the right one, and you do not care what you take. So it's still borer, 100%. Okay, section number 13, and it says a non-food application. A, if cutlery fell into the garbage, if a piece of it was a topic. If cutlery fell into the garbage, if piece of cutlery falls into the garbage, the halacha is as follows: if it is lying on top of the garbage, the malacha of borer does not apply. Okay, so if it's on top, so as we said, it's not mixed. Okay, if you have the piece of cutlery is mixed in the garbage, that's not good. One may not remove it unless he needs the cutlery for immediate use. Even if one has other cutlery at his disposal, if he uses this piece of cutlery right away, there is still considered immediate use, and he may remove it from the garbage. If the garbage is a muktzah, one should move it in an unusual manner. For example, with the back of his hand. If one may remove the cutlery by turning over the garbage, that's too much, and bring the cutlery on top. Okay, that's a little too much. But okay, so let's see. So we were cleaning the plate, right? And whatever left over from the plate, and we didn't notice how the fork slipped into the garbage, right? So if it's on top of the garbage, there is no problem. It's never mixed. But if it's in there, if it's like maybe like because it's my understanding because it's heavier, so it's synced to the bottom. Also possible, right? So in this case, they say since it is mixed, right? But if you need it for immediate use, so even if you did not need it right now, so you can make up some case when you do need it. So you take out of the garbage, wash it, right? You can wash with the cold water, right? Which is no problem. Shabbos, of course, without sponge, and you can use it immediately, and that's it. And it's good, so you can use it, even though you have many clean forks. Okay. But this, this last solution that he offers, like you turn over the garbage, I think it's a little too much. I mean, if you have a few bags, I guess that's my guess. So if there is too much garbage in there, let's say, right? Maybe it is practical, and you want to somebody's holding another bag, and you pour all of the garbage from your bag, exactly into his bag, and you're trying to look for this fork. So maybe it is actually a solution. Okay. But the problem is, as they say, if it is muktzah, there is muktzah there. That's problem. Actually, it's not the problem because you have fork. Then it's more important to you than all of the muktzah combined. Okay. Okay. So B, freezer, refrigerator. Refrigerator. Regarding the prohibition of border, as it is pertain to refrigerator or freezer, it is difficult to give a definite ruling as to what considered a mixture. Okay. Number one, large items. Large discernible items lying in close proximity are generally not considered a mixture, and therefore halacha of borer do not apply. Similarly, a row or any type of bottle on the door, right, of the refrigerator is not considered a mixture, and the halacha of borer does not apply. So meaning you have many bottles like on the door refrigerator, you can take whatever you want. There is no problem. Okay, and they not considered to be mixed. All of the, as we said before, large items they're not mixed. They're next to each other, but they're not mixed. Number two, small items. Small items lying in close proximity are generally considered a mixture. Small items generally considered a mixture, and therefore are prohibited. Prohibition of borer applies. Therefore, if the item is totally obscure by unwanted items, one must reach inside for the item in need, as opposed to removing the obstructing item for immediate use. So we're going to see what does it mean. Like I guess that's my understanding. It more applies to the freezer, right? When things lie on top of the other. Usually, like in the refrigerator, it's more organized. Okay, but okay, so you need something, and it's obscured by things that you do not need. So you do not move the things that you don't need aside. Absolutely not. You cannot take them out. On weekdays, that's the proper way, but on Shabbos it is not. Right? If this is not possible, so he's trying to stick his hand to get whatever he needs, even though in doing so, he's going to or she's going to move other items away, push other out of their way. If this is not possible, he may remove the items that are blocking, since they are still considered part of the mixture. Okay. If it's not possible, there is the freezer or refrigerator is completely full. One may remove several items together, retaining the original mixture, and then take the item in need. So here he goes from very strict to very, very lenient. So if he cannot get to whatever he needs, but basically, the way I understand it, it's all edible items, right? So because we always say the second issue is a muktzah, so that there's no muktzah here. Also, but in the freezer, many times you have muktzah. For example, raw meat or fish is muktzah. Okay, so the most lenient way the author is saying that you can actually remove whatever, even one or several items that are blocking, and take whatever you need and put them back, basically. Continue. If after items blocking, if the unnecessary items are muktzah, see if the items blocking the necessary muktzah, see chapter 28. So meaning there is a problem moving muktzah. Okay, so let's see. Let's see how much time. Okay, we're going to finish this session. So section C, and it says clearing and setting the table. Number one, sorting cutlery. One may not separate clean unused cutlery from solid soiled cutlery. So for example, you give all of your guests a knife, and not everybody use the knife, right? Like sometimes we forget, or let's say we know that the kids are coming over, and then we already plan who is going to sit where. But kids, they change whatever, they sit wherever they want, let's say, and they would have knives. So if we plan for kids to sit wherever we plan, so we did not put them knives. so now here we go, right? Some knives are clean, right? Not kids do not usually, they do not know how to use knife, right? So this knives are clean. So now you're collecting cutlery from your table. So you cannot clean. You cannot collect just. I mean, if it's already in your hand, that's one thing. But if it's like next to the plate, and you collect only clean knives, there is no problem. They're never mixed. Okay, but we're talking about different situation. So one more time, sorting cutlery. One may not separate clean unused cutlery from the soiled cutlery. Different forms of cutlery, there is forks, spoons, may not be sorted and placed in a separate compartments in a drawer or dishwasher. So that's absolutely forbidden, because as we said, it's different types for sure. As above, even randomly taken items from the mixture for separate storage is prohibited. Okay, so one more time, as above. Even randomly taken items from the mixture for separate storage is forbidden. Okay. Number two, sorting dishes. If dishes of a different size have been stuck together, it is forbidden to sort them and place the items in their proper positions, right, in a dishwasher. Okay, so so in case of the need, if we need to get something to something, we said we allow. But now we're talking about dishwasher. So see chapter 31 regarding preparing for after Shabbos in regards to loading dishwashers. So here we're not preparing after Shabbos. We just need to put somewhere the dirty dishes. So that's must be our only intention, right? Only to store some of the dirty dishes. Okay. Next one, 3. Setting the table. Cutlery that was mixed together after evening meal may not be sorted to set the table for the morning meal until the period immediately prior to the meal. So immediately prior to the meal, as we said, whatever time is needed to prepare the meal, even 2 or 3 or 5 hours, doesn't make any difference. So then you can sort it. It is even forbidden to take the individual pieces at random and set them in their proper places. Okay, so he takes only whatever without looking. Okay, oh yeah, I got two forks and 1 knife. Okay, I'm going to set that. So that's not allowed. However, one may eliminate the mixture by scattering the cutlery over the large area so that each piece stands separately and borer no longer applies. So I mean, I'm not sure where he or she should throw this cutlery. I don't know. Maybe on a couch or something. I don't know. To avoid the situation, it is advisable that after being washed, the cutlery is dried one or two pieces at a time, and each piece is stored immediately for a proper place. That's what he said is straightforward way. So usually the proper way, if you live in, if you have money, of course, it's proper to have enough cutlery that can last for, I don't know, like extra. I would say whatever extra is extra. Okay. This is permitted, of course. If you don't have, you don't have. But if you have any means, you must have more than enough. Don't wash the dishes. This is permitted because at the time the one or two pieces are removed from the assortment of cutlery, they are being removed for the purpose of drying. That's it, right? So that would be allowed. Once they are already separated, it is permitted to put them in proper place. So they were wet, you want to dry them. After you dry them, you can do whatever they want with them. When setting the plates, one may remove soup bowls that are stuck on top of the dinner plates, even though the dinner plates will not be used immediately, since the soup bowls are usable. So basically, if you have like, I don't know, several cabinets in your kitchen, or you have some other storage, it's better not to stack one variety of plates or things on one of the other. Okay. All right, no problem. We finished, so we can stop here. So the next topic for the next time, extracting liquids, squeezing and stuff like that. Okay. Any questions? Stop here. All right, if not, so until tomorrow, thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Good night. Take care.